welcome to the HeartWorking Dad podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Perez, and this is the podcast for Christian fathers looking to do the hard work of HeartWork. And the goal is to provide a foundation of spiritual and practical leadership for the family home. And we have episodes every 2 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday. Keep them short, 10 to 15 minutes long. And if this is the first time we're meeting, a little bit about myself. I am with my wife, been with my wife for 19 years. We have 3 kids. We both work full-time jobs and homeschool our kids. And in addition to that, I am a certified biblical parenting coach from the National Center of Biblical Parenting Association. All right, let's jump into this episode. I actually, on my content thing, I have a different episode listed, but something just put on my heart, and it's something that has been really impactful, and I'm just gonna shoot from the hip and just go with it. Hug your children. Hug your wife. Hug. Hugs are super impactful, and something I've been really practicing is, and I've told my wife, told my kids, 20-second hug. Because I saw somewhere, give 20-second hugs. It regulates your immune system. It actually lowers your stress. It builds connecting receptors. So you actually connect when you hug for 20 seconds or longer. So I just started hugging my kids for 20 seconds. And I can't tell you the difference it makes. And just my oldest son, as he gets older, I notice there's a difference now in the affection because he's older. We're both kind of older, and it kind of was like maybe the side hug, like just the affection changes because he's getting older. I'm not cuddling with him in bed anymore like I used to. He's getting really big, so putting my arm around him, sometimes it can just be a little uncomfortable, but it's something that I've been working on. It's nothing uncomfortable with my kid. It's just I'm not used to physical touch in that kind of way, I guess. And it's different, and I'm having to just notice in myself. It's something that I'm working on because I guess as I got older, I was like cutting off physical connection. I noticed when I was first grade, I told my dad's like, "Oh, give me a kiss." And I said, I think I'm a little too old for kisses, Dad. In first grade. I can't imagine that now with my kids, but I noticed I just had little blocks of that, and it's something I've been working on. And so I give my kid, my oldest son, we just hug. And 20 seconds, and I can tell you, like once I get to around the 15-second mark, you just feel the stress in him relieve. Like he feels kind of tight, and he's just kind of like wound up, and you almost feel. And then that hug, that embrace, all of a sudden he just goes, and you just feel like a load is lifted. And it's been great. And even hugging my daughter, she just gives the biggest bear hugs, and she's like, "Daddy, 20-second hug, 40-second hug. I want a 2-minute hug." And it's just, we're connecting. There isn't anything crazy about it. It's just connecting. And my little guy, a hug when he's angry, when he's upset. Sometimes I want to he's acting out, he's throwing a tantrum. My reaction sometimes is just like, "Oh, you need to go on a break." Sometimes, and now I'm realizing, you know what? I think you need a hug, bud. Come here. Let me give you a hug. And you can feel like the anger going away. You can feel that just kind of melting away. And it's powerful. It's important. Hug your children. I'm very affectionate towards my wife. She is not a high touch person. So hugging for her, as I can imagine, is pretty hard, especially because I have no problem being affectionate with my wife and touching, as I think most dads, most husbands are. But I'm telling her, I need a 20-second hug from you. And so we sit there and we hug for 20 seconds, and then she's like, "Okay, 20 seconds are up. I'm good." But it's still, I could feel it in me like, okay, I feel good. It helps me. It regulates my heart. And I'm sure it's breaking boundaries in her heart. One day she's going to be like, let's do a 2-minute hug. Because, I'm hugging her so much and she's getting used to it. And it's building up that hugging love that I so desperately need and want in my spouse. But it was funny. I was with my son, and it was just a rough day. It was one of those days where work was really tough. Wanted to quit. Like, I've had enough. Told my wife, "Is that, can I just quit my job? Like, is it?" And she's like, "No, you can't just quit your job." And obviously, I'm not. It was just one of those rough days. And I came upstairs. I said, "Hey, son, can I get a hug?" And he said, "Of course." Stopped playing video games, came up, gave me a hug. And I tell you, I felt the release of just the pressure, of the stress of that day. And I could feel my heart being regulated. And honestly, I was actually really ministered by his response. Of course. It was instant. It was immediate. Of course, Dad. Stopped what he's doing. And I was actually a little convicted because, I started this 20-second hug, and of course, my kids all day, 20-second hug, Dad, 20-second hug, 20-second hug. So, it's like, oh, it's great the one time. But then when you're walking upstairs, 20-second hug, you're, oh, good night, I love you. 20-second hug, Dad. It's like, okay, 20-second. I started to get like, okay, this is maybe too many 20-second hugs. But no, it's not. They're literally asking for connection. And it's just me. Obviously, I've done a podcast about your children are not an inconvenience. There's an example of me being inconvenienced by my children, which isn't true, but it's just having to just dismantle that in my heart and allow these disruptions, because sometimes I'm just like, I'm ready to shut down now. Good night, guys. Like 20-second hugs, like, you got to do a 180. Sorry, I'm just being real here. But I was like, you know what? That's how I should be, though. When my kids ask for a hug, of course, anytime, anywhere, any place. And I have been, actually. And it's been really freeing because it actually stops me and it grounds me. It puts me in the present immediately to just hug my kids. And I go, and let's take this a step further. What is God like? When God, as a father, he said, when I ask God for a hug, spiritually, God's response is, okay. When I say, God, I need your peace. I need your presence. I'm struggling. God's response isn't like, nope, busy right now. Maybe later. Oh, I got to do a 180 now and come back. No, God's response is, of course. Whatever we ask God as a father to come in and just minister to our heart, his response is not no, not now, busy. It's of course. And I was shown that through my son. My son modeled that to me. And I think it's important that we look in our relationship with our kids. And so often I am ministered by my kids. They are actually the ones teaching me about God's heart sometimes and God's love. And as being a father, I've learned more about God because I've been a father to these wonderful kids that I have, that I'm just learning. And I'm seeing God in all of these small things. So don't miss the small things. Don't miss those little moments with your kids where you just think it's a normal day. Oh, they did something cute. They did something great. No, there is God speaking through your kids to you. And you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss the heartbeat of it. And I think that's why it's called the HeartWorking Dad podcast, because I'm working on my heart and I'm being ministered to. I'm being fathered by God, and I'm, it's a linear journey with my kids. I'm not just the guy telling them what to do. I'm the guy who's getting fathered just like they are. We're both getting fathered by God in certain ways, and they're getting fathered by me, but it's just that we're both on this journey. And when you look at that, you can see things in their life that can apply to your life, and it's powerful. Like I said, just my son being, of course, Dad, of course, brought conviction and also, just a love that I needed to know that God has for me as well. So that's the episode. Hug your children. Hug your wife. 20 seconds. That's the challenge. Obviously, it's pretty laid out there. And, I don't know if there's ever going to be somewhat of a new encouragement, because it's just like, start today. Today is a new day. We mess up yesterday. Well, we get today. And maybe I should not be saying encouragement, but the encouragement is your kids love you. They want to connect with you. Let's not miss that. Let's not shy away from it. Let's not be allowing our past to shape these moments with our kids too. Just because maybe you weren't hugged a lot as a kid, that it can be very hard, very awkward. It's like a willpower dice roll to do it. And it's going to be like that for a while. But there is great fruit in it. Stay with it. Stay at it. And that's the episode I got. So thank you, and we'll talk soon.